The views and opinions on the Craig L. Hayes Show do not necessarily reflect those of Westgate Resorts, ownership, or management. And now, on with the show. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
All right, welcome back to episode number 3 with Jeff Redinger. We're another guy that's been in show business his entire life. We are doing it here from Elvis Presley's dressing room at the Westgate Resort and in the International Showroom, where we both have spent many a year working in this building. And we're going to keep on talking about it, about show business. So, Jeff, we were talking a little bit about going into the Broadway stuff. You know, we were off air for a second here. And Broadway, I love doing Broadway. Jeff's done probably 10 times as much Broadway as I've done. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the Broadway stuff you've done?
You know, here's those 4 words. Back in the day,
Yeah.
Broadway was not always such a big hit in Las Vegas because Broadway, people can go see Broadway shows in their hometowns, wherever they are, as they tour through. They come to Vegas, they come to see Vegas entertainment. And that's kind of why Broadway didn't do so well for the longest amount of time, because only a certain percentage of the people go see Broadway, and it's usually people that live here. We were dying to see more Broadway, but everybody wanted to see, the big name acts up and down the Strip. As Las Vegas grew, that percentage became of a larger group of people. So there was enough people to begin justifying a Broadway show coming through here on tour. But they would have, back in those days, they had, at the DI, I think they had Chorus Line. Yes. Or at Caesars, I think they had Chorus Line. And they had the Best Little Whorehouse over at the Desert Inn. But it was kind of sporadic. And then suddenly, okay, we've got an audience now for Broadway. And they went to other venues, sometimes in the theaters on the Strip, but sometimes the Aladdin Performing Arts Theater. We did a lot of them in there. Cashman Field Center, we did a lot of them in there. Had to do with the amount of time it took to put a Broadway show in and to take it out that didn't interfere with anybody else. And if you're going to the Aladdin, there was nothing else going on there. That was the rock and roll house back in the day. People made a lot of money then on the bounce too, putting rock and roll in and out of the Aladdin. So it came to be that time, and with my own personal Broadway background, anytime I had an opportunity to work on a Broadway show, I'd pretty much drop anything else I was doing. I don't care how much money I would have made doing the other corporate event, I'd go do Broadway. Because it was like going home to my roots.
Like home for you, yeah.
Like going back home to my roots. Yeah. Because as a kid, I did Mary Poppins, I did The Sound of Music, I did Half a Sixpence, I did Oliver, I did No No Nanette. One every year. We did one major production every year. And even though it was regional theater, it was a full-blown Broadway show. At the time I was performing, and that was a different aspect than now, but going and doing it backstage and watching people doing the same shows 40 years later from backstage instead of being on stage, couldn't help get my feet start tapping just a little bit every now and then.
Yeah.
Speaking of tapping, I overlooked a very important guy here. Gregory Hines was a regular on this stage.
Oh, wow.
And when I was a kid, I was in New York, and I was on Ted Mack in the original Amateur Hour, and they filmed in the same studio as Ed Sullivan. And in New York on 53rd Street was a stage door to the CBS Theater. And as kids, amateur acts, we'd be rehearsing our act on the sidewalk before we actually went into the theater. So there was a full-blown show going on out on the sidewalk, right on 53rd Street in New York. And I got to see Gregory Hines, who was, at the time, Hines, and Dad. It was Gregory Hines, his brother Maurice Hines, and their dad. And they were the tap dancers everybody wanted to be. And when I ran into Gregory Hines here on this stage here, I reminded him of those days. He looked at me, he goes, I don't remember the name, but I'll never forget that nose, because my nose was really badly broken. He said, but I recognize that nose. So I'd find myself in the wings here tap dancing to, trying to follow Gregory when he was out there cutting it up. Great guy, great guy.
Just real quick on that. You saw the movie White Nights, right?
I did.
Wasn't it amazing watching him and Baryshnikov dance together?
Unbelievable. It's a moment in time.
It was like, wow.
Now I'll have to go home and watch it again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, watching the choreographer do the exact same thing, but watch a tap dancer do the number along with a ballet guy do the exact same number. And it was night and day on how they did it, but it was the exact number.
Yeah.
It's just, it's wow.
Yeah. Moving back into that whole Broadway thing, Anne Margaret was here with Best Little Whorehouse one time. She was over at the Aladdin, and I hadn't seen her in probably 30 years or something like that, since back in the day. And she walked up to me and she goes, "I know you, don't I?" And she couldn't remember my name, but she remembered my face because we talked backstage every night before she went on stage. Another real sweetheart, and great to see her doing that stuff. We saw Sally Struthers here doing Grease when it was on tour. We had Les Miserables here with, a yellow card touring Broadway cast.
Yeah.
We did West Side Story here with all shows that I did when I was a kid. It was kind of cool. So that was like my chance to step back into the time machine and watch some Broadway any chance I got. And I wish I could still do it, but that's retirement gets in the way.
Yeah. You don't want to interfere with your retirement.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So,
and now we see a lot of those people that are like Anne Margaret. I don't know if she still works or not, but she could probably still go out and turn on a stage anytime she wants to, because she's a person that communicated with the audience. She had the audience in the palm of her hand from the first number. Especially with her history with Elvis and all that kind of on this stage. Yeah.
Well, she was like Elvis, the female Elvis back
She
then.
was indeed. She
Yeah.
was indeed. Yeah,
Well, she was. That female Elvis is what she was back then. She's drop dead gorgeous, talented. Oh, my head.
And a sweetheart.
Yeah.
On top of that, just a sweetheart. Yeah. That's kind of all the Broadway stuff that was sporadic in the day. Now it's the Smith Center, which is a great place to see a show. And we go there, my wife and I get there whenever we can, if we're in town, to go see a good Broadway show, because that's a real Broadway theater.
It was set up just to do exactly what it's doing the Broadway, but they can also do some good other, high-end entertainment. Some, who was down there? Golly, this getting older stuff is really sucking.
We've seen a couple big acts down there, too. I've seen Buddy Guy down there and people like that. I'm a jazz fan, too, so old rock and roller that I am.
Yep. Okay, so now that you did the bounce, you did the stuff. When did you start your own company up and start doing the? Is it more of a rigging company? Because I've never worked for you, so I really don't know too much about the rigging side of it. It's just consulting more than anything else.
Well, originally, I founded Vegas Rig, if you will, because I was dealing with corporations for corporate shows. Corporations like to do business with corporations. Corporation versus hiring Jeff Redinger, well, yeah, but do you have all the structure that you need, all the documentation that you need? So I basically founded the company so that I could deal with corporate entities.
Gotcha.
Still doing exactly the same thing, but under a corporate banner. And even though it was a one-man company, it was still a company. And from the corporate side of things, that makes things very clean and simple for your billing and all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
they write your company one check.
There you go.
Done.
The rest is up to you.
Yeah, whatever you do with that money, we don't care. We're done with
Made
it.
the transition from dope with a rope to to a real company. Just one quick trip to the business center and a business license.
There. So basically, it's more of your production rigger or production consulting rigging, whatever it may be.
Initially, it was coordinating with production companies who were producing corporate events, and as a little bit of background, you do shows for corporations. The corporations do what they do. McDonald's makes hamburgers; they don't do shows. Ford Motor Company, they make cars. They don't do shows. They hire a production company in between to produce the show for them.
Yeah.
I actually end up working for the production company who's been hired to do the show for the corporation. Leaves a little bit of a layer in between, which is good. Doesn't mean that we don't end up rubbing shoulders with the corporate executives, because we do. But for the most part, we take a concept from a creative designer, And we take that corporate design and try to put it into whatever venue they're proposing to put it into. First of all, to make sure that it can work structurally, that the building is capable of withstanding what they plan to do, and that it can fit into the venue that they plan to do. We became the kings of putting 20-foot high shows into 19-foot high ballrooms, which is very common. Designers have a tendency to build to the roof and hope you can fit the supporting rigging somewhere in between. As you know, that requires a little bit more expertise.
Yes.
So that was the foray into it. Fast forward 25 years now that we've been in business, and we're now Vegas Rig and Associates, and my two associates, Sean Connor and Neville Emerton, who run the company on a day-to-day basis. We're now a kind of a full-service production rigging consulting company where we not only do the rigging, but we also deal with a lot of other aspects of the show, like the safety, like the fire marshal equipment, like maintaining, like developing relationships with venues and engineers and venues all over the planet, and developing that kind of a rapport with them so that they know you're coming with the show. They, oh, we know these guys. They'll do the right thing.
Yeah.
And as somebody that's been in the business as long as we have, we all know that relationships are what make it all happen.
Yep.
There's two types of riggers. There are riggers that are great mechanics, and there are riggers that are people. The riggers that are people and have the skills get most of the work, because if you're a corporate company, if you're a corporation, you have the choice to deal with the option of somebody that's really, really good at what they do, and somebody who's really, really good at what they do and have a good personality. You're going to take the one with the personality.
Yeah.
One that works well with others.
Yeah. So basically, then you spec everything out, or
We do layout, engineering, load calculation.
the whole 9 yards.
We submit plans to engineers for approval. We do all that, A to Z.
And then do you have to then go do the? Does the production company rent all the truss motors, blah, 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 or is that something you do?
Without getting into contractual terms too much, we try not to be liable for things that we don't provide.
It's a smart thing to do. Let the company that owns that stuff be the ones that's.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of cases, the client says, hey, listen, you just tell us what you need to bring. You provide it, so you cover the liability, and that works for us as well.
Give us the list, and there we go.
Well, we developed a list from, we call it the napkin sketch.
Yeah.
The bar napkin sketch of a creative concept from a designer. Here's what I'd like to do. We take that napkin sketch and turn it into drawings using AutoCAD and Vectorworks software to develop that into something that we can submit to an engineer, as opposed to the napkin sketch, which doesn't go too far with the engineer.
Yeah, they don't like that one.
It's been great, and now as time has progressed, there's kind of an unwritten competition among a lot of these heavy hitters in the corporate world, like big companies like State Farm Insurance, like Ford Motor Company, like IBMs and things like that. They have within their companies, they have a creative services division. The head of that division is the guy that's responsible for producing the show for his company. He deals with the production company deals with us. All those guys at that level, they all know each other. The guy at State Farm knows the guy at Ford Motor Company. Hey, what'd you do for your show last year? And there's a little bit of one-upsmanship. We like that, because the more they try to one-up each other, the bigger the shows, the better the money.
Exactly.
So we capitalize on that. And it's very cool to see somebody come to the table and say, hey, I saw this at a rock and roll show. Do you think that we could do this for our show next year? And I go, okay, well, first of all, that's a tour that has been prepped and, ironed very, very well. Mm-hmm. You're going to do a one-off. We're going to go in this and do it one time. That requires a little bit more of pre-production time to figure out how to do it, because you only have a certain amount of time to put the show in, because the venues are booked. They're booked so solid, shoulder to shoulder, there's never enough time to put in the show you want. So that's our job, is to try to facilitate making an efficient, safe, an affordable solution to a creative concept that maybe wasn't even meant to go into a venue like that.
Perfect.
It's what we do.
And you get to travel around and Do you do a lot of the traveling, or the other guys do a lot of the work?
A little bit less, but I've done shows in Cairo. I've done shows in Moscow. I've done shows in Dubai. I've done shows in Beijing. Done shows in Bali, in Singapore. I mean, we're pretty much all over the planet with corporate work because a lot of the corporations take their annual shareholders meetings to nice exotic locales because they're basically throwing a party for the people that are making them the money.
Yeah, exactly.
We've done several shows in Bali, a lot of shows, some in Puerto Rico,
Rough
Hawaii.
gig. Rough
Yeah,
gig.
it's a rough gig. I now we just did a big McDonald's worldwide in Barcelona last year. So they take it where they can take it, all subject to to the economy. When the crash happened in 2009, our calendar got slim pretty quick. When COVID happened in 2020, it emptied.
Yes, for a year and a half plus.
About a year and a half. So, you don't always think of entertainment being so susceptible to the conditions of the economy, but indeed it is, because about the first thing that goes out of a corporation's budget is entertainment.
Yep.
Or
Their
corporate
big
events.
meeting, their big party, their big whatever it's going to be. Yep. Yeah, we're not going to do it this year, guys. We got to knuckle down and.
Yeah, exactly. And even though COVID, of course, they couldn't do the event because they couldn't gather en masse. But when it's just like a recession or like the 2008, 2009 area, they downsize the shows. They still have a meeting, but instead of a extravaganza, it would be what we called the rug and rag. Nice carpeting, nice drapery, and a screen.
Just something.
Yeah.
Just
Talking heads.
throw something up there and make it happen. Nice.
We get, and the thing about a lot of the corporate events is, they don't really ever see the airwaves because they're a private event. But we've had everybody from Elton John to Rod Stewart to Steven Tyler to, you name the rock and roll acts. And sometimes they're the private entertainment for big name companies doing a little private ballroom show. We do shows, did a show in Hawaii for a computer company, 500 seats. Jennifer Hudson and Ronnie Howard were the guests, in a tiny little ballroom.
Yeah. These entertainers, they love these corporates.
They do indeed. It's so nice to fly in, spend a nice week in a resort hotel, do a 50-minute show, and you're out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, and get paid ridiculous.
Call them walk-ons. Yeah, they're
ridiculous
they're
money.
serious
for it.
money.
It's just-
They're serious money. And hey, God bless them.
No, I'm all for that stuff. Number one, it makes us money too. Us as workers, but at the same time,
And it's also there's a whole different attitude with A-list entertainers doing a corporate gig, as opposed to doing an arena or a stadium or something like that. It's not going to hit the airwaves. They're not going to get any good or bad press from anything, other than the people that are attending the show who might tell their friends on Facebook they just saw Jennifer Hudson somewhere.
Yeah,
it's very low profile for them. It's a really easy gig for them.
yeah, I remember that. And Huey Lewis and those guys used to make X amount of dollars for doing a show in a showroom or whatever like that.
Great corporate act.
And then they did a corporate act.
Yeah.
And they got like 5 times the money for one night, and for like a 1 hour show,
Yeah, we've had Huey on our show. Yeah. So it's unbelievable. Yeah. It really, and this is kind of that behind the scenes thing that you're talking about that the world isn't even aware of because it's a corporate event, private corporate event.
Yeah, there's no tickets sold. There's nothing there. Just
No. It's
amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Our business is so weird.
It is. And quoting my dad, I hope I never have to get a real job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why would I want to go get a real job when I've made 44 years of making a paycheck and doing this?
Yeah, and at some point in your career, you got to pick and choose which one of them you wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I am at personally. I don't do a lot of the shows anymore, but if there's someplace I want to go, or an act that I'd like to see that I haven't already seen, I write myself into the deal.
I'm on that schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on that schedule.
No, and then when I say go get a job that a real job or something like this, this work we do is very demanding. It is.
It is.
It'll suck the lifeblood out of you so fast.
We downplay that a little bit and try to keep the attitudes and up and everything. But when you're working 24-hour days trying to get something done and something's not working, it can take a year or two off of your life.
Yeah. Or doing big load-ins.
Yeah.
Loading in a Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. Sure.
When every day that show's not open, the casino's losing money.
Exactly.
There's a lot of pressure on, the management, the head carpenter, the head of departments. It's like, let's go, get this thing open.
Yeah. That's it's not directly not directed at us, but you can feel the tension in the air when things aren't going on schedule. You may not be the person that has to answer for it, but you are the person that's got to try to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, my biggest one here and that's what I love doing, the big changeovers and transforming the room from this into that or whatever it's going to be. Not in the convention site, but in showrooms and stuff. And Barry rolling out of the Starlight Express.
That was a big changeover
Into Barry.
Yeah.
And the stage was already flattened out, a few years before that, but we still had Don Toto's favorite truss in the world, and we still had the starting gate. We still had, everything was still here. It was basically the same thing. And rehearsals were going to start when they said, "Here's who's going to be," and go. We had 3 months to switch the whole room over, out of Starlight, redo the rail basically, all the and then start bringing stuff in and doing Barry Manilow.
Yeah, and we've done some corporates where we knew going in that we did not have enough time to put the show in. So now you're into round the clock. A couple of big events, a couple of major insurance company events, we'll say, would be a 10-day load-in 24/7. So 2 groups of huge crews working 16-hour days with an 8-hour overlap for the other crew, with the other crew, for 10 days just to get the show in the air and ready to rehearse. And then you get a week of rehearsals, and then you do a show. So by the time it's all said and done, you're on a corporate event for 3-4 weeks at a time sometimes.
Yep.
And it's almost like a sentence, because one of the beauties of doing corporate shows, if you like it, enjoy it, because it's only a week. If you don't like it, don't worry, it's over in a week.
Yeah, it's both ways, whatever you want to do with it, yeah.
It's sad, because some of the ones that are really good, you'd like to see stay longer, and but the ones you don't, you're out of there.
Yep. And in this business, the hours like we were talking about, you're going to work yourself to death. And you can work yourself.
I'm now going back to cities that I've been to many, many times to actually see them. Because when you're on the road with the show, you see the inside of a hotel room and the inside of a venue, and that's it. You're off to the next town.
Yep.
So you don't always get to enjoy all of that.
No, now you can be a little more picky and, I'll show up a little day earlier and go do some things and show up and, talk.
Well, used to, if I want someplace I really want to spend some time, I'd have to book it on the tail end of the show so I could actually do something, because the schedules are very demanding when you're on site. So if you want to see something, you got to do it on your time, not the company's time.
In Hawaii, you're in Hawaii now.
I am. I live on the Kona side of the Big Island.
I love Kona.
Waikoloa.
We're right there with the Hilton.
I live up the road.
Resort.
I live up the road from the Waikoloa Hilton, about 6 miles up the side going toward Mauna Kea.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we're up high enough that I have a nice ocean view over the golf course, and that's where I'm trying to spend as much time as I can, God and health permitting.
Yeah, Kona. I love Kona. Kona's like the perfect size little town, and just
I tell people that having a home in Hawaii is, first of all, it's like if you live in Las Vegas, you don't live on the Strip.
Exactly.
If you live in Hawaii, you don't live in Waikiki, or you don't live in Kona town. you live like you live anywhere else. We're regular residents there. We have a home, we have a car, we do normal things, but it's really nice to be able to just kind of go to the nicest beaches in the world every now and then. And the difference between Hawaii, even though it's a state, and the mainland, it's kind of like going to another country without leaving the country.
Yeah.
Because the whole mindset, the attitude, the pace.
Once you get out of like Waikiki.
Once you get out of Waikiki, well, we're on we're on the Big Island, which is not even on Oahu. So we are probably the least densely populated island in all of Hawaii because it's that big.
Yep.
You know, the island's 90 miles north to south and 80 miles east to west. It's a big island, and we did happen to be there just a few weeks ago when Kilauea was really blowing its top.
Awesome.
Yeah, we just happened to time it right and spent the night over there watching the volcano erupt.
I like Hilo too.
I do too.
Hilo's nice too.
Hilo is a little more native.
Yeah, a little more. It's a little more wet.
It's a lot more wet. My wife and I joked that we'll drive over there to get a car wash.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's raining all the time, 60-mile-an-hour car wash.
That's about it. See, but you're living in a beautiful place. That's yeah. Can't.
It's good for my health.
I bet you it is.
It is.
So what else is going on in the world of entertainment you want to talk about and stuff? This is your show.
We've kind of run through quite a bit of it. We're the corporate world is really, really busy. Our calendar is really, really full.
Good for you.
I, on the other hand, are leaving for Paris next week for a couple of weeks.
On a job or just
Just
to
going
go?
to Paris for a couple of weeks.
You been there before?
A long, long time ago, and not for very long. I was on tour with Liberace
Oh, gotcha.
back in the day, and they didn't use the dancing waters in Paris, so I had a day to hang out.
Oh, nice. Well, I heard one thing about Paris. Expensive. So
Yeah, it's. I couldn't afford to do much of anything when I was there the last time. I can afford it a little better now,
yeah,
but yeah, it is an expensive place to go.
good.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime vacation for my wife and I.
Good.
Who deserves it because she puts up with me.
Yeah. She deserves many trips then. So, well, good. I'm trying to think of anything else that we may have missed, and
I don't know, Craig. I think we got through quite a bit here.
oh boy, we covered an awful lot in 3 episodes here. Can't think of anything else really that's.
How about Local 720?
Well, we could talk about that if you want to.
No, all I can say is, for those who are planning to pursue a career in the entertainment business, get yourself affiliated with somebody that represents you so that you'll be paid what you deserve to be paid.
Yep. There's lots of ways to make a living out there, but you make a good living if you're working through a union like we've worked out of all of our lives, and get paid well, have good benefits, retirement, medical.
Yeah. I mean, many of the people that you're interviewing are all living comfortably on IATSC pensions.
Yep, me too.
Myself among them. I mean, it all goes into the kitty. That's kind of what pays for Hawaii.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's get don't do a non-union job with somebody that's you're going to pay you a good wage, but doesn't give you anything on top of that. Because you got to remember, you may be getting paid the same amount of dollars, but they're keeping everything above.
One of the one of the really beautiful things about being a IA member, as I've been for coming up on 50 years now, is when I go do a corporate event in other cities, my first phone call is usually to a business agent in that city to tell them, hey, I'm coming to your town with a pretty good-sized show, and this is what I'm going to need rigor-wise. And kind of pave the way to work with people that know their skills, have the skills, because we are responsible for hanging thousands and thousands of pounds over people's heads. And I'm never going to find myself in a position where I'm not comfortable with whoever it is that's actually physically doing that, be somebody I know and trust to do exactly that, hang that over somebody's head.
Yep.
It gives me a great chance to visit old friends when I go to different cities and see what's happening in the entertainment business in other major cities and markets throughout the country, and a chance to catch up with friends who I see every other year or something like that. It's one of the things I enjoy most, and it's one of the things I miss most about not traveling so much anymore. You get to where you don't miss the airline, you don't miss the hotel, you don't miss the hard work, you miss the people. And that's what it's about. It's about the people, because that's what kind of makes it all work for me is getting together with people that do what I do, think how I think, and know how to do what they do. You know, it's a kind of a great benefit.
And then like today, you get to bump into somebody. You started working at this place 40 some years ago, and
Yeah, indeed.
almost 50 years ago,
Yeah, crazy, right?
and amazing. Yeah, what a business we're in.
Where did that go?
Yeah, and that's what I tell people. I go, where did it go?
Yeah.
44 years, really? I've done it 44 years.
Yeah, that's why it's great that you're doing this, because these memories will die with these people if somebody doesn't capture it all.
Yep, that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to get as many of these guys in there, and I haven't done any performers even. I'm just trying to get our brother, stagehand guys, get them on record. Because that's like the book is. It's our lives on behind the scenes in Las Vegas showrooms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, if if you could gather that group of people from that era who worked in Jubilee and Casino de Paris and the Lido and all the other production shows that were up and down the strip, and get them all in one place to swap stories, you'd have to start another whole show.
Yeah.
It would go on forever. I did this last year. I had a gathering last year for a birthday party and invited so many, 70 people, 75 people that I know that are just my friends from here in Las Vegas. And that's exactly what it was sit around swapping funny stories for hours and hours. And we could have gone on for hours and hours more. Nobody gets to do this stuff except us.
And there's a lot of guys that are up there in some years. We just had Al Bash, Patrick and Pat, and
great guys. Great
and I'm
guys.
sitting there looking at Al Bash, and I'm thinking, wow, I just got out of high school and started working as an apprentice building Jubilee, and he was like the main guy.
He was a shop
main
foreman.
guy. They're building the thing.
Design Concepts? Was that Design Concepts?
No, it was MGM Scenery. It was called the MGM Scenery Shop.
Right,
shop over there where
Yep.
Harmon and whatever that place is, Koval Harmon or whatever it is.
Whatever that is in back of all that over there now.
Yeah,
By
behind.
the old Las Vegas Scenery Studio.
There you go. And I'm sitting there looking at going, has it really been 44 years?
Yeah.
And I got the guys that it was really a weird.
Well, Pat Bash Jr., or no, it's Pat Bash, Al Bash's brother. Pat Bash is the same era as me. We hung and harnessed side by side for a lot of years, pulling chains.
Yeah, he was in the shop too, building, and it was just one of those weird. Here's guys that we're all four head carpenters from four major showrooms.
Yeah, it's like,
Shooting the breeze about being the head carpenter.
I love getting together with other flymen from other theaters and comparing notes.
Yeah.
Old guys getting together. Have you had Jerry Helmuth on here?
Jerry's going to do the show, but every time I get a date kind of lined up and he gets a doctor appointment,
Yes, it happens.
Yeah,
It happens to me, Craig.
When you're as old and dopey as he is, come on, No, he's going to do it. I had him lined up, and something happened here, and I had to cancel. And they booked something, and it's just kind of like it's hit and miss with a lot of people because even though we're retired, you still got stuff to do.
Yeah.
People are still doing stuff. Their lives are still going on and doing things. You don't just sit home and watch ESPN all day, So.
We all, when you get out of the business, like I said, you miss the people.
Yep. Yep. It's the people that made it, and then you get to think about all this stuff, and you have time to think about it, and you go, Wow, boy, we did some really cool stuff.
Some stupid stuff too.
Well, there's a lot of that too, you know. That's what makes some of the cool stuff cool because you survive the stupid stuff. You're going to hang out where and do what?
So here's a good one for you. Another one that was here with the Moulin Rouge was Suzanne Summers, who was a sweetheart. So one night we're having a show kids. We used to call them show kids party. Okay, we're all getting together at this place after work tonight. This is the 2 a.m. This is back in the day where your shows were 8 and midnight.
Yep.
Everybody's shows were 8 and midnight. So we decided we're going to have a party at a place called the Elephant Bar, which was over on Maryland Parkway.
Oh, yeah. I remember that place. Yeah.
So I don't know whose idea it was, but somebody said, well, let's